morning and happy Monday. And welcome back to the Sideline Grind, episode 9. Hope everybody had a safe and enjoyable 4th of July weekend. We're back in action this week with Shane Dierking. Hope you guys all enjoy it. Cheers.
Okay, we'd like to welcome on our next guest. He is the defensive back coach. He is the defensive coordinator at North Central College. It's a D3 school in Naperville. They just won the 2019 National Championships. Shane Dierking. Shane, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. I appreciate you having me on, Steve. Appreciate you having me on, Adam. It's going to be a great day. I already hit 18 with my brother and my dad, worked on the playbook a little bit, and now talking to you guys is going to be awesome.
Well, how do we shoot out there? How are the sticks swinging?
So out of 3, I got second. Today I didn't play very well. I went 90. My dad went 87 and beat me.
How many gimmies is the real
0.
question? Oh,
0.
okay.
We're honest men out there. You're
Breakfast ball?
Every now and again, if my dad says it, but
wow, so your dad's pretty strict.
No. He's the more lenient one. I'm the one keeping everybody on track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about a stereo while you're playing golf? Like, do you guys got the jams going?
With buddies, not with my dad. If you put it on with my dad, he's like, "This is a gentleman's sport. Turn that music off. I need to focus." Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And they have a bad shot, and they're like, they'll turn to look at like the music, like that was the problem. It's
exactly.
Like, no, like, are you kidding me? Like, just own it.
Exactly. But I can handle the music, but I play with my dad so much, so when somebody is playing music, it's kind of out of the ordinary. But we figured out.
Really quick, while we're just on the golf subject, because you're getting, like you said, you're getting out, a good amount right now, which is good, as you should.
Yeah.
What's the lowest round you shot? Give me some of your personal best. What do we got?
He needs details.
Yeah. So really, I only started getting into it 2 summers ago. And 2 summers ago, Adam, I couldn't break 100.
Wow.
So it's like everything, as a coach, like I just have a, very addictive personality, with something that I enjoy, something that you can incrementally get better at.
Sure.
So right now I'm at like a 13 handicap. I've been shooting high 80s, low 90s.
Well, today's not going to help.
Personal best. Yeah. So it'll bump me back a little bit. But personal best is 82.
Okay. Yeah.
82.
That's no joke.
So let's jump in.
Yeah.
Obviously you played at North Central College. You're coaching there now, so a little full circle action. But I want to ask, what does it feel like to coach at a school that you hold multiple records?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where now, you start to appreciate it a little bit. It's cool looking at the record book and seeing your name at the top, but at the time of playing, that wasn't a focus. And my goal was to go to North Central as a player and win the first national championship for North Central, and I failed at that. So that was the big thing, and I think it was more important to my parents and family. After the Wheaton College game my senior year, I intercepted a pass, and it actually tied the record, and my mom mistook it for me breaking the record, so she came on the field. She came on the field, and it happened like, it sealed the game. It was like we were up a couple scores, but it happened with like 45 seconds left. So they came on the field and she was crying. She's like, "You broke it." I was like, "No, I tied it." So it was like, luckily we went deep and we made it to the semis that year. So I broke it in the quarters. But that's one of the things. Don't focus on records. Don't focus on statistics. Focus on doing your job. And now, like I said, it's cool to look back on that, but my goal was to win a national championship as a player, and I didn't do it. And that's one of the things
back with a
that
vengeance.
I kind of talk to my guys, that's how I talk to my guys about it. When, you're having spring interviews or you're having, post-camp interviews and guys talk about, hey, I want to be an All-American. I want to be all-conference. Focus on being the best you, being the best teammate, and putting in the work to be able to help us achieve what we want to achieve as a defense and as a program, right? And then those things will follow.
Right.
If you've got your mind focused on accolades, you don't decide that. You don't control that. So that's kind of how I felt about that. But it's nice. It's good to look. It's good to look back on. It's good to look back on now.
I mean, well deserved, right? You put the time in, and a little background. Shane and I interned in Chicago between my junior and senior year of college, and I had a buddy, Connor Douglas, who played football at North Central that I knew prior. So I lived with them for about 3 weeks, and everything that Connor said was like, Shane is like the most intelligent football player that I have ever seen. And, obviously the results show for themselves. But my follow-up to that would be, how would you describe an intelligent football player?
An intelligent football player, really, you have a lot of guys that come from high school to college and really try to memorize their job. They try to memorize one position. You can tell that a guy's an intelligent football player when he understands the concept, right? When he understands the big picture, when he understands situational football. And that's one of the things we talk about with our guys. It's kind of happened over the last, 5 to 10 years that guys aren't watching as much football, aren't watching as much NFL, aren't watching as much college football, talking about our college players, because there's so many other distractions. And that's the thing. Put yourself in those positions by when you're just in your leisure time, you're laying low, watch football, see situational football, understand the concepts, try and read coverage, try and see what pressures they're doing, try and see what the offense is how they're trying to manipulate them. And I think those are the things, being able to really understand overall concepts, whether it's defensively or offensively. Don't just memorize your job. From there, understand the big picture, and then situational football is huge. You see games won and lost at every single level, every single weekend because of one player's lack of situational awareness. Whether it's third down, end of game situation, red zone, goal line, you can dice it so many different ways, but that's what I would say is how you can kind of see a guy that's an intelligent football player.
Right.
Yeah, and you hit on something really good there that is something it's unique to football. There's only so many reps in a practice. There's only so many plays in a game. It's such a physical game and so demanding on your body that you have to then do so much more with your mind. And so you only have so much practice and so much you can do yourself. So by watching games, by immersing yourself in games, you see situations, you see like how this particular team may have done it, that particular player has done it. And that gives you a little bit of ammunition, that little thing in the back of your brain when you're in that moment, you have something to fall back on. You have some, at least not maybe physical evidence, but you have some mental evidence. And is that kind of what you're saying there?
Absolutely. And, as a coach, I'm sure you said this all the time, if you're a backup, if you're on the sidelines, you're taking mental reps. You're locked into your position. You're seeing what's going on. Well, the starters, that's the same thing off the field, right? You're doing that watching film on our opponent. You're watching film on yourself, but you're also watching other football games, and because you're going to put yourself in those situations, and you're time and time again, you never know what can be the deciding factor.
Interesting. That's interesting. What about scenarios where, kids aren't watching as much football as they were prior, or 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it might be. So how do you as a coach change your philosophy to ensure that they're, the most intelligent kid or player that they can be?
I think the biggest thing that coaches fail at in regards to, building, football IQ is saying, watch film. Watch film. You have to watch film, guys. You have to watch film, but not teaching the players how to watch film.
Sure.
I think that's huge, because if you tell a guy to watch film, you tell an 18-year-old freshman, what is he going to do? He's going to go from play 1 to play 72, and he's going to go straight through, which isn't bad. That's fine. But then when we're talking about knowing his assignments, IDing formations, understanding what coverage adjustments we're going to have, right? Do it formationally, do it personnel based, do it down in distance. Let's look at our red zone playlist. Let's look at our goal line playlist. And really teaching them how to watch film is critical. Because I've been there. When I was a young coach, I was like, hey, guys, you got to watch film, watch this game. But then once I had some young guys come in that were playing for us, as freshmen and sophomores, and they're like, hey, coach, I really don't know how to watch film. And I'm like,
nice. At least
I'm an idiot.
Ask you. Yeah.
Some of them did, but that was 4 or 5 years ago. But I was like, I'm the idiot. You have to teach them how to do it.
Yeah. Who taught you, or how'd you learn? Or was it kind of just through experience that you kind of picked up little ways to get better at it, get more efficient with it, or kind of who gave you the reins of, hey, this is a good way to watch breakdown tape or to actually prepare for an opponent?
Yeah, so back when I was in college, so now we've got Huddle, and the FBS schools, a lot of them use DSB and all that, but we have Huddle. So the kids can watch it in their dorm room. They can watch it on their phones, wherever they are. So it was different when I was in school because we had to come into the office.
Yeah.
Because we had like the old school DSB.
Back in 2013,
Yeah, it progresses every year. But I would just sit with the D coordinators or, my position coach or a GA, and really learned it from, the defense coordinators.
Yeah.
That I had during school, and look at all these cut-ups, and you can put it to situational football. You can do it by down and distance. You can do it by personnel. You can do it by formation. You can do it by backfield set. I was just like, my mind was blown. I was like, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. And that's when it started to, probably my junior year. I was like, I can't get enough of this. Like, I absolutely love this. And, just learning how to do it, I should have known at that point when I became a coach, to teach those young guys, but it took me, a few years as a coach. But I think that's just extremely important to teach guys how to watch film is how you're going to get better.
You talked about defensive coordinator. Obviously you are the defensive coordinator, and you were a very young defensive coordinator, becoming one at age 24 at Beckman University. You were promoted mid-season. What was that experience like? What were some priorities that you had to attack right out of the gate? Can you go in depth in that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so it was, I think at that point in the year, we were 4-3. It was our first year at Benedictine, and we thought we were going to have a really good team, and things weren't going well. But we had a really good defensive coordinator. It wasn't working out for whatever reason. And the head coach was a younger head coach. Josiah Sears. He's an awesome coach, and he became an offensive coordinator at a very young age. I think he was 25 or so, and he kind of just watched my work ethic, and in the couple of games before, heard me saying things from the box, and he had a lot of confidence in me that I didn't have it in myself at that point in time. Mm-hmm. And it was really one of those things. It was the most transformational week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of my entire life, because I was thrown into the fire. I was just a DBs guy. I could coach corners, I could coach safeties, that's it. Mm-hmm. And I knew underneath coverage with the linebackers, but you talking run game.
Run fits and things like that. Yeah.
I was 24, and I didn't really understand everything from the broad scale, the big picture. So when he told me, I was like, "Holy cow!" Shane, you better buckle up, because opportunities don't come around like this.
No.
I was like, "You better freaking figure it out, man." So put my head down, and it was kind of ironic. So my high school defensive coordinator wanted to get into college coaching, and he just wanted to be a part-time coach. He joined us that year, and he's a veteran coach. So he ended up putting together, the new defense mid-season with me, helping me figure out the run game, how we're going to match front coverage, how we're going to get these kids to play harder, be more disciplined, be more sound. So we were there, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, and he's an older guy, and he doesn't need to be there, but he busted his hump, figured it out. We figured it out. First off, we got the kids to play really hard.
Yeah.
We got them to run to the football. every single day, every single rep, we had them run to the football. We had them get excited about playing defensive football. And then we kept it really simple, really, really simple, because we were running 3-down stuff, and, that's not my forte unless it's, third down, or 2-minute or ended game situation. So we got to, our 4-down stuff, started implementing some more quarters, some more cover 3 stuff. And we kept it simple, and the kids played hard, and we ended the season the right way. So at the end of the season, the defensive coordinator got another position, and he's been doing a great job. He's done an awesome job, over the last 4 years. But it was one of the things that, the head coach really didn't have an option. I think he called some guys that were probably better than me, and they turned him down. So then he resorted back to me. So that was really the start. But those first, I took over the last 3 games. And funny story, the first call sheet that you make should not be on Thursday before your first game calling it as a DC or OC.
Yeah, because you've never had to look it up, right? And because you haven't had practice in live, being there and then having to look down and be situationally ready to go and find the play, find the call. Is that kind of what was challenging?
And I'm very, particular and kind of OCD and kind of a perfectionist, so it took me about 8 hours. Because I called an old DC, that coached me, and I was like, can you send me over I liked his template. Then I was looking at it, I'm like, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change this. But when you're doing it on Excel, it is a bear, because you're merging this, merging that, can't drag this down.
Yeah.
So it's really funny looking back on it, but I still use the same one, but I upgraded it, quite a bit. But yeah, you're totally right, Adam. I mean, you don't understand being on the sideline when you're a position coach and then have to call, especially with a tempo offense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Do I look at the sheet? Do I not? Do I go with my gut? And, we figured it out since then, but it was, baptism by fire, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, man. It's so cool to see the progression. You obviously took advantage of the opportunity. And then you ended up back at North Central. How was that transition? You had a pretty good thing going. Why did you want to get back to North Central? Just because that's where the roots were?
Yeah, I think it's, North Central has a special place in my heart, and it's not just because of football. There's great people at North Central, within administration, with admissions, at the cafeteria. Everybody there is to serve the students, where at other places you see it's all about, me trying to progress my career. I'm trying to one-up this person and, jump the next person in this department, and for us at North Central, it's easy because the people on campus are there for the right reasons. People work together. And obviously you're in downtown Naperville, right? One of the best suburbs in the entire country. And, with the facilities we have, with the athletic director, with the administration, our president, everybody backs athletics, and athletics are important, which is not the case at every Division III school, not the case at every NAIA school, not the case at every Division II school. So that was really, really important to me. And, to come back home and, try and lead the troops, that's, that was exciting for me. And I had some other things out there, and, Division I GA, positions, and it just, the timing really didn't work out. And I was just like, God was kind of telling me, he's like, go back home and do your best, be where your feet are, and, go put in work for the people that worked for you.
And you definitely did. 2019 national champs. The question, I guess, is what would be one word that describes that feeling?
Yeah, it's difficult to put one word on it. Difficult wasn't the word. Difficult.
A little pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was really, I'd say surreal. It was really hard to enjoy the playoffs, just because, especially the end of it, because we ended up flying out to Pennsylvania. So we went to Mount Union in the second round. That's when really everything turned. we beat Mount Union, who hadn't lost before the semifinals since 1994.
I know, it's something ridiculous.
25 years.
25 years, yeah.
25 years. So we went out there and we beat them. Now, let's not talk about the defensive stats of that game, but we came out on top. But they're really the pinnacle of D3. Yeah. Right? They're at the top of the mountain. And to be able to go to their place and be able to knock them off, from there, our guys' confidence was just at another level. But then we went back home. We played Delaware Valley, an East Coast school. They're very talented. Ended up beating them. But then we ended up getting on a plane Thursday, going to Pennsylvania to play Muhlenberg. And then we got home. We got a delayed flight, so we got home at about 1 a.m. on Sunday. And then we were leaving on Tuesday to go to the national championship.
Wow. Yeah.
Jeez.
So you know what I'm saying? How it was.
Yeah, it's grueling.
And it's a little bit different at Division III, because we don't have the staff capacity, to be able to turn stuff around in 3-4 days.
Yeah, you're wearing a lot of hats.
Exactly. So that's why I was saying it was in the moment, preparing, it was tough, and you weren't really able to look at it and say, wow, this is an amazing journey. And really didn't do that until, triple zeros hit the scoreboard at the national championship.
Yeah.
And, so in that moment, it was just so many emotions. It was just surreal because you think about that moment, being at the top, being number one. And, a lot of people don't get to experience that. A conference championship and a national championship, it just felt different. And you're just so happy for the players, so happy for the family, so happy for the school, so happy for Naperville. But the biggest thing was, our head coach, Jeff Thorne, has been the head coach for the last 4 years. His father was the head coach in 2002 and took North Central from the doormat of the conference to being, a top 10 school.
Yeah.
And then for Coach Jeff to be able to fulfill his father's dream of winning a national championship was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. Seeing them both hold up the trophy, and, that was one of the coolest moments of my life. And you're just happy for everybody.
Sure.
And, having, your family there. I went running up in the stands because they wouldn't let people go on the field. So I was running up the stands trying to chase down my family. But it was something I'll never forget. But those playoffs were difficult from, the last couple of weeks just with the scheduling, and I lost about 15 pounds in the playoffs.
Really?
You want to say the neck's look a little skinny.
You don't want it though, Bill.
Well, that's, again, congratulations. But
thank you.
My follow-up to that is, do you think, next year or whenever the season might take place, hopefully this fall, and you guys get to that same situation, do you think you'll kind of approach it differently? Not saying that it's not going to be difficult, and you're not going to have, the same turnaround time that you need to get ready for the next week potentially, but do you think you'll kind of look at it a different lens?
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be looking at everything with college football with a different lens, this year. And what I've been telling people, everyone's like, oh, it's got to be so frustrating. I'm like, when everybody is disadvantaged, no one's disadvantaged.
Right.
Everybody's going through the same things. You got to be creative, and we'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. You put your head down, you start spitballing ideas. We'll figure it out. But, in regards to the playoffs, I got to treat myself better because there's some days, when you're not
You don't want to lose 15 pounds.
When you're not sleeping,
Well, it's better than gaining 15 pounds. I mean, that was like the scary thing of being a coach. It's like you start eating like crap, and you become the fat coach pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that
But it was one of those things. It's like what I need to do a better job of personally, for myself, is treat myself better during the season. You can't go that long with, not eating, not sleeping, because you're going to get burnt out. And, you got to smile, because it can be stressful, especially in those big playoff games, but you got to smile. You got to enjoy the journey a little bit more. So that's what I think I need to do a better job of, as I start to mature through the coaching ranks, and, just, it's a game, put in your work, do a great job teaching the kids, and have fun with it, because if you continue to act like it's a job, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to get burnt out.
Well, yeah,
that's what I need to focus on.
Yeah, you can easily get caught up, because there's 24 hours in a day, whatever they call that, 1,184 minutes, whatever it is. It's like, but you have to know that I put my time in. I've done our process. That I've taught our players what they can. Now it's my time to shut that off and go away, because before you know, like you said, your mind will race and race and race, and there's always, I can maybe do one more third down package, or maybe one type of thing that, if you don't turn that off, it will definitely consume you. So is that something you're saying you're trying to work on a little bit? Is just trust it and go with it?
Yeah, it becomes obsessive.
Yeah,
where
of course.
As a defensive guy and a defensive coordinator, you're not always going to be in the perfect call.
Yeah.
80% of the time, you're not going to be in the perfect call.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that is difficult to live with, but you have to live with it. And what does that come down to? It's about, hey, if you're not in the perfect call, your kids are coached well, they know great fundamentals, they're going to run to the football, they're going to be physical once they get there, they're going to try and disrupt the football. Yeah. And those are the things I got to focus more on, instead of always trying to be in the perfect scheme, the perfect front, perfect pressure, the perfect coverage, because it's not going to happen all the time. But to be able to coach your guys the right way, to teach them the right way, so they can fall back on their fundamentals, fall back on their training, that's going to put them in the position to win the football game. So those are the things that keep you up at night, thinking of certain situations that you don't have the perfect call, or you don't have the perfect package, but you got to live with that sometimes, especially as a defensive coach.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of strategy, let's go back to 2019 again. You had an incredible offense. Brock Rudder, am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got his stats here: 4,591 yards and 56 passing touchdowns in one season, which is unheard of. And he got picked up by the 49ers, which is awesome. But in terms of being the defensive coordinator, having such a high-powered offense, how does that impact how you approach a game and your strategy from the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, our offense was amazing to watch them on a week-to-week basis, because not only did you have, those stats from our quarterback, but we had a receiver go for over 2,031 touchdowns.
Oh 31 touchdowns.
Yeah, wait,
that's
what?
absurd.
31 touchdowns.
In a career, right? In over 4 years, right?
You had a running back go for over 2,000 rushing yards and like 24,000 or 2,400 all-purpose yards.
24,000 yards.
Yeah, exactly. But really, our head coach does a great job. He's like, what do you like in formations? What do you like in situations? Go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it, because it's hard to always complement each other. But what I would say is, it fits well with having a dynamic offense, what we do defensively. So we're pretty simple in the run game. We're going to be 4 down. We're going to spill the football to speed.
Yeah.
And our run box rules are pretty simple, but we're going to be really multiple in coverage, week to week. We're going to try and play, anywhere from 9 to 12 coverages, in a game.
Sure.
So that really helps with, if you get that lead, they're going to have to throw the football. And, Adam knows this better than anybody. You don't want the guy under center understanding what coverage you're going to be in by your pre-snap shell or your pre-snap look, right? You have to confuse the guy under center. You have to confuse the offensive line, and mix up what you're going to do from a pressure standpoint to attack their protection. So I think it really bodes well for what kind of coordinator I am. We're going to be simple in the run box, but we're going to be multiple in coverage. So when you do get those leads, with the dynamic offense, I think that kind of fits the bill.
Well, and you said, like, it's great that you have a head coach saying you guys don't have to kind of complement each other, but I've always kind of thought it was funny, like on offense, we're trying to score as fast as possible, right? I mean, ideally, obviously there's some times where if you can go down for an 18-play drive and take up 10 minutes, do it. But if I can score and put points up on the board in 30 seconds, I'm going to do that too. But by doing that, that means the defense only got 30 seconds rest. You know what I mean? And so you have to play that into mind. So, if you have a high-powered offense scoring a lot, that means you're on the field quite a bit. So your boys better be in good condition, right?
Absolutely. And I think the defensive coordinator, when the offense scores on the first play, not talking about to start the game, but anywhere in between, the defensive coordinator is the only one we just came off the field on a 9-play drive. Uh-oh. So, no, you're totally right on that.
Obviously, having such a great team, it's not just the players that are starting and on offense or defense. It all starts, as a team, the scout team as well, from both sides of the ball. I'm curious to know, are you guys using any specific technology or anything that helps you guys be more efficient on the field? I know you mentioned huddle, but in terms of time management during practice?
Yeah, so one of the main things we use that's been essential for us, I think we started using it about 5 years ago. It was actually when I was at Benedictine, then I came back and they were using it. It's called Go Route. And essentially what it is you get these military-grade iPhones, and you either put them in a sleeve that you can wear on your arm, right? Just like a wristband, you just slide it in, or you can wear it around your waist, right? Just, it looks like a hand warmer, essentially. And what it does is you have no huddle scout team. So you have a GA, or an intern that shoots the play. From there, it goes to all those iPhones. The guys look at it. It tells them exactly what their position is doing, drawn up just like the scout card.
Yeah.
So our receivers never huddle. Our skill players never huddle. The O-line, right, they get to the ball. 2 of them have it, shows it to the tackle, shows it to the center, right? The other on the other side shows it to the tackle, and then we're ready to run a play. So we're getting off twice as many reps as, your old school 2 binders.
Huddle together, yeah.
Show one binder to the O-line, show one binder to the skill guys.
Break.
Okay, ready, break, let's go get set. So that's been huge. We can get off so many more reps, and our guys are staying crisp. Our second team is getting more reps, and that's just huge for us. And that's been really incremental in being able to hit situational football on Wednesdays and Thursdays. That's huge for us because we can get through more looks, we can get through more periods while keeping our guys fresh. We'll take breaks if we're going too fast, but it's really been
That's a good problem to have when you're going too fast and you have to take breaks. It's worse when you're like, oh man, we have 10 plays we didn't get through in this period, and you're like, well, we can't, your time limit's up, and it's like, well, those 10 plays, there's so much important stuff there that's it's going to come up in the game. So yeah, that's a good problem to have.
And when you don't get those plays in, you're going back to a certain situation, and then your kids are starting a new one. In the middle of that period, I think it's just it clicks much better when, hey, this is third downs. We're going long in our 3-down package. Then we're going 5 plays of medium. Then we're going 4 plays of short. Sure. And then we're done. Then we're going to go line. And it doesn't always work out perfectly, but most of the time, we're right on cue because we know how many reps we can get off.
For sure.
Now, as a D coordinator, then are you then, working with your guys, your coaching staff, and saying, hey, this is the kind of look that I want to see here? Are you saying, hey, guys, here's what they do on offense, kind of throw it at us, and we'll see if our adjustments are there? Like, how hands-on are you with the looks that you're trying to show your defense?
Yes. So Tuesday's the only time I'll kind of step in and be, whoa, we blew that coverage check.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk through it. Okay, 10 trips, gun week, we're checking the cloud trap here.
Yeah.
All right. The reason we're doing that is because they're going to run inside zone or outside zone. They're going to bubble 3, right?
Yep.
That's the only time I'll really slow it down. Wednesday and Thursday, right, with those situational looks, we're going to spend a ton of time in walkthrough on goal line, on third down, on 2-minute.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can execute it because we taught in the classroom. We talked about it in walkthrough. Hopefully we can execute at a high enough level where I won't have to stop practice and really do teaching on the field, where we can just get reps and then teach it off the film.
Yep.
Now, are you the coach that is yelling a lot, or are you more, hey, everybody, let's calm down, this is what we need to go through, and just teaching on the field in more of a like well-spoken manner?
Well, when we talked about when I first became a defense coordinator, I was the biggest yeller.
Really?
Big energy guy.
You mellowed out with age.
You know, it was very selfish, though. And I think this is something that a lot of coordinators, can experience at such a young age is, hey, I spent so much time on this. This is going to work. Mm-hmm. This concept is going to work against this look. Mm-hmm. And then you go out in the field, you explain in meetings, you explain in walkthrough, and the kids screw it up. And you're like, it's selfish because you blow up, but hey, dummy, you didn't do a good enough job teaching it. It's my fault. Mm-hmm. It's my fault. So that's what I've started to realize is in most kids, especially today, aren't going to respond to getting screamed at. Some kids like being coached hard. Some kids like having an arm around their shoulder and talking to them. So you've really what I've realized is you've got to understand your players. What's their switch, right? How do you get them to perform at their highest level? It's different for everyone. Right. Therefore, you got to get to know them. And, so I'll still get after it, Bills. I'll still get after it and yell a little bit, but, I try and pick and choose, when you do that. And you've got to do it to the right kid in the right time in multiple facets, right? Put an arm around the shoulder, get after it.
Or you can do it positively. You can get positively, getting the juices going pre-game or whatever it is.
That's one of the biggest things is scream, but tell a kid, great job. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Part of me feels that you're the coach that you see on Twitter or a video that is headbutting the kid with a helmet on pregame, and then you have, a little scrape in the middle of your head where you're bleeding before the game starts. Like the strength and conditioning coaches.
Never done that. We'll leave it at that. Never headbutted anybody, I don't think.
On a football.
Yeah.
Well, I do have, one or two more questions if that's all good with you.
Awesome.
You are at Division III, which is great. But from a kid that's a junior in high school or a senior in high school, let's be honest, majority probably are wishing or hopeful that they can play Division I football. What would be your advice to a kid that might be teetering on the line between Division III or Division I or Division III, Division II, whatever it might be, of how to approach their recruiting and the decision that they make once they get to college or before they get to college or choosing where they're going?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we see now, we didn't see it this past summer, but, so many guys go to every single summer camp they can, miss team practices, with their high school. Put yourself in a position where you're going to be a great teammate and you're going to do a great job your senior year especially, right? You're going to give everything to your team. But once it gets to the recruiting side of things, don't say no to anybody unless you have concrete offers. And it's one of those things we see at, the FBS level and the FCS level and the D2 level and, sometimes the NAIA level, that offer may not be there when you're ready for it. And, you could get offered early and, it could go away just because there's so many spots to fill. But for us, don't say no until, you visit campus or you talk to a coach and just go through the process and go where you feel wanted and go where you feel is the best fit for you, not just athletically, but academically, socially, spiritually. You've got to, and that was one of the things that drew me to North Central. I looked at North Central and I was like, I'm going to become a better person. I'm going to become a better man, and I'm going to have an education that's going to put me in a position to do whatever I want to do. I was thinking business when I went into school, but all in all, the four main facets of life, put yourself at a school in a position where you're going to become better in all those areas.
I respect it, brother. Well, I think that's all we got. I don't know if you have any closing remarks for any players out there, coaches out there, before we call it a day.
No, I just want to say I appreciate you, and I love what you guys are doing. I listened to 3 podcasts in the last 2 days, and it's been fun.
Which ones did you go with?
So Roundtree, Peegs, and then the brothers.
The negotiations.
Yeah.
That's great.
I didn't want to mess up the last name.
Yeah, I might have messed up your last name. I don't know.
No, you're good.
But,
No, you guys have been doing a great job, and I think you and Adam are an awesome team. And we need more of this, in the coaching industry. And
appreciate it.
I think hearing everybody's stories and hearing everybody's insight and philosophies is something that we can all learn from as coaches, fans, family members, friends. It's just one of those things where I love what we're doing with, what's happened over the last few months with quarantine. It's actually connected some people,
Right.
closer. And
Right.
who would have thought, I'd ever see you again?
I know, man. It's great, isn't it?
To be able to, talk with you and see how you're doing and see your passion, to do something like this is really exciting for me, and I just really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you coming on, but it is true because you'll be episode 9, and that's 9 different coaches, 9 different perspectives that we've gotten, and obviously there are a ton of themes in coaching, but in each interview there's something that comes out that has never been mentioned yet within one of them, and that's the beautiful thing. Everybody's got their own mentality, mindset, and strategy. So appreciate you coming on. Webs, I don't know if you got any closing remarks.
Yeah, so Shane, thanks again for coming on. It's awesome to see your perspective, your knowledge, your hunger for the game, but then also your ability to learn and get better as an individual, and see that as a coordinator, I can't allow myself to be completely consumed by it, because that's not good for me completely as a human. But you have that desire, you have that drive. Even as a player, you got obsessed with watching tape, and how that translates or carries over well to your success as a coach, your ability to communicate with players, and then be humble enough and be as a new beginner's mentality of how can I teach my players, how can I reach them better. I think a lot of our coaches that have been on, but also the many that are listening, and also just other listeners that are listening to this podcast, will take a lot from it. And again, congratulations on the national championship. That's life-changing. Not many people have that feather in their cap. Wish you nothing but future success. Hopefully we can play this year, and love to have you on later on and see your progression and kind of what more we can kind of dive into. So thanks again for joining.
Awesome. I appreciate it. And I got one thing for you, Adam. I don't know how you got out of coaching with that voice. You've got the coach's voice down to a T. You sound like me in day 4 of camp. No, it's the raspy voice. Are you a coach that you get the voice that you lose it, then you're saying a little bit, or are you saying day four I lose it?
Yeah, it's in your head at that point, man.
No, yeah,
and I'll tell the kids and I'll be like, now I've already lost my voice, I'm trying to get it back, please do not screw up too much today. I know it's day 5 of camp, but please, if you enjoy me as a coach, do not screw up.
I love it. No, that's it's a badge of pride right there. I always thought that by being a quarterback, you develop strong vocal cords because you have to yell and stuff. But I just scarred those bad boys up, and
absolutely.
I got this. I never realized I had a raspy voice until I started doing this podcast. So, what can you do?
Oh man. Well, again, Shane, appreciate you, man. This is great.
Thanks, Shane.
And,
absolutely.
Can't
Thanks,
wait to
guys.
have you back on.
No, keep doing what you're doing, guys. You're doing a great job. Yin and yang, just crushing it. And like I said, just from a coach's perspective, we need more of this. And I'm really happy to see you guys doing this, and getting so many different, guys from different levels, and have been on so many different journeys. It's very, very nice to hear all those different perspectives. And thanks again.
Well, appreciate
and
it.
Have a great 4th weekend, and hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
We'll talk soon. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Awesome.
More than a feeling, no, it's something I believe in. You light up the night, yeah, you light up the night. You got the sun in your eyes, yeah, you got the sun in